Lonely Monk Productions. Welcome to the Too Old, Too New Music Discovery Podcast, the podcast that brings you something old, something new, something Nate, something Bruce. I'm Nate Runkle, host of the Yo That's My Jawn podcast, and with me as always is my good friend Bruce Warren of WXPN. The premise of this show is simple. Each episode, we each share with you two songs that have moved us this week. One, a brand new track, and one old one that we think you should pay some attention to. And so, it is my pleasure to say, hey, Bruce, how are we doing today?
Well, I'm doing great, Nate. How are you doing? Good to be here. Good to see you, man. Absolutely. Great to hang out, to talk about music. And that's love to do that. Love to do that.
I like to joke around with people that I've been trying to get you on my podcast for the longest time. You keep turning me down. So instead, what we've decided to do was create one.
Oh, okay. That's how you did it. I like that. Very, very strategic, my friend. Very strategic. That's really great. Yeah, I'm holding out to the highest bidder, man. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to do one podcast, one exit podcast, whatever that time may be, and whoever the highest bidder is, boom, I'm there.
I'll back the truck up. We'll make it happen.
But it's really great to hang out because you and I talk about music all the time, so what the heck.
All the time. And that's what I'm excited for here because you are someone who, much like myself, loves music, old and new. And so why don't you tell them something new you've been listening to?
All right. So this was a hard thing, because, you don't want to leave out anybody, right? Anything great that you're hearing for the first time or something new. But ultimately, you make a decision. So I've decided to pick as my new song, a new song by a very talented singer and songwriter from Pittsburgh, whose name is Merce Lemon, M-E-R-C-E, Lemon. New to me, has been playing in Pittsburgh for a long time. Nate, we always get pitched tons of music, me for the radio and for our website, you for your journalists, your journalistic pursuits. But I, as a fan, the best recommendations come from my friends. And I have a friend who lives in Pittsburgh, and he turned me on to this song. And it's just a burner. It is a slow burner. I love Merce's voice. It builds slowly. It's melancholic. And she, as a lyricist, brings you very quickly into this place, this sense of place, which a lot of lyrics and songs fail to do these days, So I love it because of the lyrics, and it just picks up steam, and it becomes a total freaking Neil Young, guitar raging thing before it sort of flames out. So let's listen to a little bit of it here. It's Merce Lemon.
So that was Will You Do Me a Kindness by Merce Lemon. First time I had heard it was when you had sent it to me, and I was absolutely floored as well. One of the things that I love about a song and songs in general is if something builds, it better have a payoff. And this song has a payoff.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's part of the charm of this song. It's hard to come out at the gate slow and then simmer and take it to a boil. And that, believe it or not, is really hard to do, I think, as a musician, but Merce totally delivers on this one. I'm glad you dug it. Glad you liked it.
Yeah. The other thing about it is one of the things I really like in a band and I really like in music is what I like to call the festival feeling. Like if I were to walk and never had heard this artist or anything and just walked by a stage and heard, this is one of those festival songs that would have led me like the Pied Piper.
That's a great description. And it's a great image. Totally get it. So what do you got that you want to share with us?
So, like you said, we get sent music all the time, right? And my choice today is very similar. It's not something that was sent to me. As a matter of fact, it's something that rarely happens, which is that I discover something in a YouTube short or a reel or something like that that comes up in the feed that I never would have sought out. I never would have known existed. And this is a song by Lexa Gates, and it features, I'm going to say Alea Aria. I don't really know how to pronounce her name. And it's called Lately Maybe. And what it is like what caught me was the way that this beat starts off. All right. Like I'm a hip hop guy, but like I like a sparse hip hop song. Like I want to be able to hear the lyrics and not just hear the lyrics, but I feel like one of the secrets to a good hip hop artist is to have a voice. All right. And if you don't have like a voice that just kind of hooks me, I can, whether you're a brilliant lyricist or not, I just can't connect. There's something that misses. And Lexa on this song, the minute she starts, I was just like immediately paying attention. So before I go on any further about it, let's play a little Lately Maybe by Lexa Gates.
I might just smoke this shit to make my man mad. Need that love, I had a bad dad. Finally got some bread in my own pad, but I don't even got no one to bring back home when I can't stand being alone. Phone in my hand, I'm just on my phone, blowing mine with the shit you're saying to me. Few hours ago, I was your baby.
But yeah, just an absolute vibe. All right. And one of the, like I said, you know, one of the things that really hits me is like, if you feel like hip hop to me, if I feel like I'm in the room with you and you're just kind of freestyling and you can evoke that feeling, well, then I'll probably be a fan of you for the rest of my life.
It's so true. It's so true.
So, Bruce, I have a question for you, and it's a timely question. As much as I've already, not even a week out, tired of the discourse, I have to jump in. What did you think of the Beyonce album?
I love it. I love it. I've listened to it multiple times. The first time I listened to it, I woke up at 4 a.m, and I usually wake up at like 4:15 in the morning. But I wanted to make sure I had the full 80 minutes or 79 minutes I needed to listen to it without distraction. You know, I wanted it to be foreground. And from the moment it started to the very end, I just like absorbed it all. What did you think of it?
I love it. And now this is just a me thing, and it's 100% my ADHD. It's a little too long for me. And
it's a little too long.
Yeah. You know, I have notes on what I would cut, but it's so brilliant in the way that it traffics in essentially it like much like Act One with house music. You know, this is a lesson. Like this is a scholarly text to me of the history of not just country music, but black music. Like it's beautiful. And from the very start of American Requiem, I don't know that I've been hit with a side one, track one, the way that song hits me. And surprisingly, not just from a songwriting standpoint and not just from Beyonce's incredible talent, but from a production standpoint. Like I'm absolutely floored by the way they decided to open this album.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it just grabs you. You know, it just grabs you. You know, I've been digging deep into the conversation around it all, and I'm glad that this moment has sort of it started before Beyonce, obviously, you know, but I'm so happy that Black voices, particularly in country and Americana music, are getting, you know, more of the spotlight that they need. You know, on one level, you know, it's a shame that Beyonce had to pull all this together. It's really great that she was able to pull this all together. As you know, at XPN, you know, last year we did a project that we collaborated with Black Opry on in Nashville. And one of the reasons why we reached out to them was because, well, for a couple of reasons, you know, in music, many musicians don't have access to the kind of resources that they need to further their careers. And particularly in the Americana and the country space, Black Opry was like giving voice to these artists of color, and it was just brilliant. It was just amazing. And we felt like we want to do something with this group of people who we have shared values with around music, So, and as a result, I've been looking at all these, I've been watching a lot of videos and a lot of interviews with Holly G from Black Opry and some of the artists who were in our project. And I'm just super proud that this moment is here. And I hope, it sticks, and I hope greater awareness is brought to music fans. That's how I feel about it. But song for song, the album, every time I've listened to it like 3 or 4 times now in its entirety. And almost every time a song will reveal something new. And I love that about records. I love that about records. So I'm glad we're in agreement. Although, yeah, maybe if it had 14 songs, it would be like killer. But I am not a musician. Who am I to say how many songs a musician should put on a fucking record, right?
It's true.
Go for it. Go for it. God bless you, and go for it.
Yeah, and like I said, it doesn't take away from the project whatsoever. It's literally just I think I've become so conditioned to the length of a single vinyl. That anything outside of that to this day still just kind of, I'm just like, what are we doing? I gotta get up a third time,
All right, so I got a question for you. Okay,
yeah.
So you got Act 1 and Act 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your prediction for Act 3?
Well,
where do you think Beyonce is going to go?
For me, she definitely zagged on this one because I would have never seen a country album coming from her. Though now that it's here, it completely makes sense. It's one of those things I just didn't think about. So to me, the logical third one would be a rock album. All right. But here's what I want is I want a Beyonce blues album, and I want her to kind of reach out and pull all of these brilliant blues musicians that we have that are kind of, I don't want to say languishing, but just don't have the drawl that Beyonce does clearly. And I'd like to see her kind of put on a blues project. How about you?
Okay. Well, this is not a trick question. Where did the blues and rock and roll music come from? It comes from gospel.
Oh,
it comes from gospel. That's what I want. I want a gospel album that, in the same way that she made a country record, but that draws on many genres of music or styles. Let's forget genre, styles of music, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of discussion of, is it country? Is it not country? Yeah, it's a country album defined by Beyonce. It's a Beyonce album. It's a Beyonce look at the role that Black musicians have played in the development of country music and roots music more broadly. So, yeah, I would love a rock record. I'd love a blues record. How do you pull it all together? I'm saying gospel.
I would love it.
But in a way that Beyonce would do it, right? So there would be rock elements in it. When you think about the influence, the impact that gospel music had on early soul music, early blues, early rock and roll, it's all there for her. Go crazy. I love it. So there you go. But either way, I'm psyched for Act 3, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I hope we just don't have to wait whatever it was, 4 years for it, or 5 years for the next thing. But,
yeah. I would absolutely love that. I'm not a religious person, right? But I have a religious experience with music. All right, and gospel music overwhelms me with the feelings, even if I don't share the faith that is being prophesized in the song. Music is my religion. And that, I don't mean that in any cliche sense. I literally have out of body experiences around music. Or I wouldn't have dedicated my life to it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. Well, either way, it's something's coming, and it's going to be awesome. So that's one thing we know we definitely can count on. So there you go. All right. Where do you want to go next, my friend?
How about something old? I'll start this one off. So my choice is I felt weird about it because it doesn't seem too old. It's from I want to say like 94, 95, somewhere around there, which I guess is old now. But it is a demo version of the song Mrs. Young by the Rentals, featuring Rivers Cuomo. Now, the Rentals famously were Matt Sharp's band, the original bass player of Weezer. To which he actually ended up leaving Weezer to focus on the Rentals and his own project full time. And this song appears on the first Rentals album, titled differently and with different lyrics, called Please Let That Be You. But in its essence, in its core, this demo version that is somewhat acoustic, but also has a little electric in it, but has an assist by Rivers Cuomo in it, to me shows what the secret sauce of Weezer always was. And it's what's been missing since Pinkerton, and it's Matt Sharp's influence. Because the two of their voices together absolutely fills me with joy. And so let me share that with you guys right now. Here's a little of the Mrs. Young demo by the Rentals featuring Rivers Cuomo. Please let that be you. Ringing my phone right now like I wish you would do. Calling this on good news. Jamie, you are my babe and I. And so this demo comes from a release that I think went out to the Rentals fan club called Excellent Stocking Stuffers. And it's out there on archive.org. You can find the whole thing. And it's a lot of demos and live versions. And I know it sounds like a hipster thing to be like, oh, well, I like the demo version better. But a lot of the songs that ended up on the first Rentals album exist here in a lesser produced form. And they all absolutely soar. Are you a Weezer guy?
I'm a Weezer guy. Absolutely. Definitely agree with you about Pinkerton, or the trajectory of their career over the time. I love the first Rentals album. This is cool. This is really cool. I didn't know that this existed. So I'm definitely going over to check out some of the more stuff. But I was really into the first Rentals album. And then, other music came along, but it's very cool that you're sharing this with the music fans in the world. So good, nice pick, definitely.
I like it. What do you got? Give me something old.
What I got is much older than what you got there, Nate. I'm going back to the 70s, 1977 for the Isley Brothers. I'm a huge, you say you're a hip hop guy. I'm an R&B guy. I love the Isley Brothers, and their output in the 70s through the 80s just was like incredible. The album I'm talking about is Go For Your Guns, but there were two really amazing, the whole album's amazing. Two incredible songs, one of which is a song called Footsteps in the Dark, parts one and two. That it was never had a real single. I think it was like the B-side to a single. I can't remember the name of the single. I think it was maybe called Groove With You or something like that, but it was a more upbeat Isley Brothers song. But Footsteps in the Dark is just like, it's sexy and it's patient and it builds, and Ernie Isley just kills it on guitar. And Ron, Ron can sing the phone book to me, and I love it. So that's what we're going to hear a little bit of. Also, being a hip hop guy, you probably know that Ice Cube very famously sampled this song for It Was a Good Day. So we'll leave the lyrics to that. So, but this is the Isleys and Footsteps in the Dark.
My mind drifts now and then, looking down dark corridors and wonders what might have been. Something up ahead. Hey, should I keep this same direction or go back instead?
It's absolutely brilliant. I feel like the Isleys, and tell me if you agree with this, are like everyone respects them, and everyone kind of that in music knows and will point out how important and integral they are. But I feel like in the public discourse, they're one of the most underrated groups of all time.
Totally agree. You know, they get often, you know, I think about like the Gap Band, and I think about Earth, Wind and Fire, around like many of those bands around the same time, particularly in the 70s when they were sort of all at their peak. You know, Isleys, you don't really hear about in the conversation. And I'll tell you what, as good as the Isleys originals were, their covers, like back in the day, some of their, like, listen to the music. Their version of Summer Breeze is mind blowing. It's like, you know, that sultry, like just slowed down, like they just get into the groove in a big time. So I'm glad you sort of, you know, brought that point up about the Isleys. But yeah, there you go. Something from the Isleys. It's cool. It's good. So we got a good mix of music here, man. I love this.
And available, what we can share in the notes is we'll start putting together a playlist, a Spotify list of all of these. So if you heard snippets here today, but if you want to check these out, or if you want a deeper dive, you can, in the show notes, follow the link and give a listen to 4 incredible songs, if I do say so myself.
So Nate, do we have a sponsor yet for this podcast?
We don't.
Not yet, right?
Not yet.
We're working on it.
We'll work.
Okay.
We'll get one. Someone will come through.
All right. So if any of you are listening out there that want to sponsor this podcast, like you know where to find us. Right?
That's right. And hopefully someone with food, because I need free snacks.
You need free snacks.
So we're going to do this every as much as we can. We'll be bringing you new music, and you know, make sure to follow us on the socials. You can follow me at Yo That's My Jawn, and you can follow Bruce. You're at Some Velvet Blog on everything, correct?
Pretty much everything. That's right.
And tell them how to find your Substack too, which is another brilliant place of music discovery.
Well, you know, if you go to Substack and search for Some Velvet Blog, you'll find it. I mean, that's really where you know, I've maintained the same brand name over the years. So over the many transitions, all the new shiny new toys that I've signed up for and have completely disappeared, the name remains the same. So there you go. Some Velvet Blog. There you go.
That's awesome. All right. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you will join us next time for a little more something old, something new, something Nate, something Bruce. For Too Old, Too New, I'm Nate Runkle.
And I'm Bruce Allred.
All right. You guys have a week. Too Old, Too New with Nate and Bruce is a Lonely Monk production, produced and hosted by Nate Runkle and Bruce Warren. Please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on your podcast provider of choice. If you have any music you think we should hear, or if you would just like to reach out to us, please feel free to email us at tooldtoonewmusicpod@gmail.com. And as always, thanks, and we will catch you next time.